Hello again, beer fans. We're here with Heineken Light. We're continuing our theme of light beer as I continue to diet. This is about the same alcohol per calorie and calorie information as Yuengling Light Lager, 99 calories, about 3.5% ABV. So it's not going to be quite as efficient for your dieting as, say, Bud Slick 55, which is 2.4 for 55 calories, but it's not that bad. My understanding is that Beck's is the light, which I'll review later, but I didn't want to. My car's broke down, so I didn't want to carry a 12-pack home. When I get my car fixed, I'll get some. Is the most efficient at getting you drunk. So, let's see how this goes for our Holland Brewery. It doesn't have the early bite you're used to with Heineken. From that kind of Heineken, I always find has a little bit more of a skunk or bitter flavor to it than a lot of beers. This is very, very smooth, very light. Not a whole lot of flavor comes at you. A little bit stale aftertaste. There's a nice citrusy from the hops, most likely note that comes at you immediately, but it's gone very fast and it's replaced by a stale note. And so if they could sustain that first note longer, this would be a recommended Brit beer. As is, I'm not actually sure it's better than Coors Light. Which we're going to use Coors as our general standard. Coors is $6. It's got it's very drinkable, nice little citrus flavor. You can chug it. Alcohol's reasonable, calories are a little bit weak, but in general, that's kind of, to me, the standard. And I'm not sure this is better. And it costs substantially more. So I wouldn't buy it again. Although it doesn't taste bad. There's a little bit of a stale note. I think what's happened here is that kind of almost what I would call kind of a skunk-like flavor, or kind of bitter thing that you see in the German Pilsners. That the German Pilsners have something that's kind of a harsh note that's a little bitter that probably comes from the way their yeast is going in the Pilsner. And I find, when done right, and Heineken's not a bad example of it, it's not a great example of it, but it's not a horrible example of it, but when done right, that flavor's not bad. And what I think is happening here is the light, either the yeast or whatever, is not letting that kind of flavor express itself. And so it's lost its uniqueness, and now it tastes kind of like an American adjunct, but not a particularly special one. And that note that defines it is still there, but it's not as pronounced as it is in your normal Holland beer or your normal Heineken. And so I'm going to say, if you're a big fan of Heineken and a big believer in Heineken brand, by all means, this is not a terrible tasting beer. I just don't think it's worth the premium you're paying for it. I mean, it's an import, and any import you're going to pay a premium for. And this is not worth that premium. Now it's lower in calories than, say, Sam Adams Light, but again, with Sam Adams Light, you're getting a much better beer. And so again, the question arises, why pay the premium? Why not get Sam Adams Light for the same price? which you're going to get in Sam Adams Light, a very good tasting beer. Whereas here you're going to get a okay beer that you're going to pay premium prices for. So I recommend to avoid. Now, if you must have an import, this is better than Corona, which is an absolute highway robbery for the price they're charging you for their light beer, which is worse than most light beers. I don't know that I would buy it over Natty if they were the same prices, but I think that little of Corona, but you're going to pay import prices for it. So that's my general take. Obviously, you can chug this quite well. You can see how quickly I drank that. That it was over and done with in a few seconds. And so again, reasonable session beer. But again, if I was going to go into a session beer and get one, I would get a different one. I would either get the Yuengling Light Lager or the Sam Adams Light if I was going to use bottles, or something else. That's my general take. Anyway, that's all I got. Not a whole lot of detail for it. I'll talk to you later. See ya.